Hi, I'm Chuck. Today what I'm going to do is I'm going to go off and try and salvage a project that went awry about a year ago. If you look on the wall behind me, I've got this mahogany bowl that I turned about a year ago. And I was actually kind of happy with the way it was going. It felt right, everything was good. And after I took it off the chuck, I signed my name on the bottom and pushed a hole right through the center. I knew I was thin, but I didn't quite know it was that thin. So it's been hanging up on my pegboard for about a year or so, kind of reminding me to be smart about what I'm doing, to be just a little bit more careful and take my time a little bit more. So recently I've been beginning to think about something I could do with that bowl besides just leave it there being a nagging, festering sore. So what I decided to try and do is just go off and basically repair it. I have a piece of mahogany in the shop. It's not a big piece, it's about 3 inches thick. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over to the bandsaw. I'm going to resaw this, so I'm going to end up with 2 pieces 1.5 inches thick. One of them I'm going to save for a project down the road. The remaining one I'm going to take a 5-inch circle out of it. And that's what we're going to use for the platform for the bowl. So why don't we go on over to the bandsaw, we'll go off, we'll cut this mahogany, and then we'll get this on the lathe. All right, we're going to go ahead, we're going to cut this out now. I have the mahogany between centers now. I'm going to chew it up, and then I'm going to cut the first of my tenons on this side here. This will actually be the bottom of the platform. All right, I have the first tenon cut now. What I'm going to do is stop the lathe, put my chuck in, and then reverse it. And we'll go ahead and we're going to cut the tenon that the bowl's going to sit on top of. My hole is 2 7/8 inches, so I'm going to come out here just a shade over 1.5 inches, which would give me a 3-inch tenon. And then I'll just work it in with the bowl there to make sure that I've got it fitted on properly. All right, here's my 2 7/8. I've got it preset on here. Just a shade big, so I'll wander it in just a little bit off this side. All right, I think that's got it. What we'll finish doing is we'll sand that down. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to bowl this in so that the tenon juts out, like I said, about 1/2 inch, maybe a smidgen more. So we're going to just roll this in, and the bowl will sit right on top of that and or underneath it, so that we'll have a nice tight fit right around there. Alright, so we've got the bowl up here now. What I'm going to do now that it's sitting up here is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to work this down a bit more so that I can get the bowl all the way on. I'm going to have a jut on this so I can take out the marks from where I had it with the drive spur. And we'll have a nice little rounded image here. So I'm going to take it down another 1/4 of an inch or maybe 1/2 inch on here, and then I think we're going to be pretty close to being right. Alright, that's nice. I'm going to round this out right now, and then we should be all set on this side. Then we can go off and we can do the finishing for it. Alright, I think this is going to look really nice. Now before I change and reverse this, I'm going to go off and I need to finish this side now. Because what I'll do is I'm going to reverse it one more time, put that tenon on this side in the chuck to go off and remove the tenon from the other side so that the bottom sits right. When I'm not turning pins, I like to use the Abernet. I think it does a pretty good job up until you get to the finer grits. What we're going to do now is I'm going to apply some pretty heavy coats of the Mahoney's walnut oil to this. Really let it soak in for maybe an hour or so. Then I'll come back. We'll flip the disc here that we've got. We'll take off the tenon from the other side, and then we'll be finished. And already you can see how nice the finish is going to look on this, how well it's going to come together. Alright, I've reversed it one last time. This is actually going to be the bottom of the bowl now. And I'm just going to take this down so that it will sit level on the ground right here. So if not all the way, at least 3/4 of the way down, I'll check just to make sure that it's flush and it's flat, and then we'll finish the bowl. Okay, we pretty much got this where I want it to be now. It's kind of nice and flat. I'll put a finished little sanding on this. I'm not going to concern myself too much with it because it's on the bottom. But I will finish putting in the walnut oil here so that it'll all at least be uniform in appearance. And then we're just going to finish up the bowl. It's all said and done. All right. Well, generally I'm pretty happy with the way it came out. You can see I've got a nice color matching up here, and I think it looks pretty nice. When we look at it from the top view, I'm going to show you in just a second, it's the tenon's a bit lighter, so it stands out. But overall, I'm not unhappy, and it's way better than hanging a bowl with a hole in it from the pegboard in my shop. So thanks a whole bunch for watching, and we'll talk to you soon.